Blow it up. We are live. I'm Richard Sod, John Eccles, Nick's Plumbing, coming to you from our office location today. Yep. We had to move offices, but this is temporary, but we'll be permanent shortly. Today's topic, it's getting a little warmer outside. That means for most people, you are running your AC more. And with AC comes several things. Okay, we got some AC issues that could happen, but plumbing, how does that interact with AC? How does plumbing interact, John?
Well, a very big thing that happens, especially right now, temperatures are starting to rise. We live in Houston, Texas, which is predominantly one of the #1 air-conditioned cities in the world.
Did you guys know that? It is #1.
And so,
I think it even beats Vegas, but I guess we've got tons of houses compared to Vegas.
Absolutely. With that, the AC, a lot of times in plumbing, they'll tie the AC condensation drain lines to various parts of the plumbing.
To our plumbing?
Yeah, to our
No
plumbing.
way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And one of the most common places that ties into are lavatory fixtures, lavatory sinks. Matter of fact, I got a message last night from a dear friend. Her son plays on the baseball team that I coach, and she was having the issue. Matter of fact, that's why I was looking at my phone. I will kind of hopefully show you all the picture. It says, "What do you think this is? Something is draining into my bathroom sink, causing it to hold water." Tell me if you can see that good, Ursula. Decent?
Yeah, bring it a little bit more. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Mackenzie Wilkins out there in Huffman, Texas, where I live, had this going on. And so I give her, I told her it's her AC drain line. And what ends up happening is that water, when it gets used and kind of sits and stagnates, creates algae. And then that algae just doesn't flow real well through the pipes, and eventually it stops it up.
Algae doesn't flow well through the pipes?
No, it does not.
Algae actually grips the pipe.
Yeah.
And it's usually in our pipe. Yeah. So can I actually go a little further on that?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
This is going to be a long topic. The reason being is it's going to happen a lot. Many homes will have this situation happen this summer.
So when we get these phone calls, not on John's cell phone, but when they come into the office, right? So what happens a lot of times is you have a single bowl lavatory, or you've got a double bowl lavatory, and one of those sinks, or maybe you only have one, like I said, it starts filling up automatically. So when you go into the bathroom, you see this bowl full of water and it's not going anywhere. Well, what's happened and what's been created is that algae has made it into, it's a 3/4 inch line that comes from the AC unit into our piping structure. Our piping structure typically is 2 inch. Could be 1.5 inches, but typically it's 2. From there, it gets stuck in the pipe and it starts gripping our pipe, and that's when you get a complete shutdown and that water starts filling up. Now, the danger zone on that is if you're not home and there's no place for that water to go, and you might be thinking, these guys are telling me wrong because I got an overflow on my sink. Well, yeah, but it's all stopped up. So once it hits the overflow, it has nowhere to go either, except onto the floor. And if it's a 3rd story or 2nd story, it happens all the time. People aren't home, it goes onto the floor, then going downstairs. It's not real pretty. Fortunately, though, for AC condensate lines, they're condensate lines. So it's not like it's producing water full time.
Right.
It's only producing water when the AC is running.
Right. Which in our summer months is probably going to be all the time, unfortunately.
A lot of the time it is.
Yeah, depending on our temperature.
So what can you guys do about that, right? How can you do preventative maintenance so you're not calling us?
That's right.
And you're doing it yourself if that's what you choose to do. So let me ask you that question. What would you do?
You know, a very simple thing to do, you know, we were kind of discussing it earlier. Tablespoon of Clorox bleach, right, in the upstairs in the attic. You'll see a riser coming up with a condensate line.
What's a riser?
Standing pipe, a
What's that?
vertical pipe.
Oh, what
Vertical
color
pipe.
is it?
White.
Okay.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a tablespoon of Clorox in it. What do we say? Once.
How would you put a tablespoon of Clorox in that? Okay, just making sure, because we're teaching them how to do this. So this pipe is going to be standing up about this tall in the attic. It's right outside of your AC system. So it's within a couple feet of the AC.
Yes.
Okay. So what you do is you get a tablespoon and you just put it in. It's going to be an open pipe. There's nothing closed on
Yeah.
it.
It's nothing.
That's how it breathes.
Correct.
Now, not every home has this, is the issue.
Right. Yeah. Not every home does have it, but I mean, if you do, this is a simple way.
I would say 85% of the homes do, roughly.
Yeah.
But if you're one of the ones that don't have that, I would highly suggest don't be cutting in your own line and installing these additional fittings.
Right.
Because if you do something wrong, then it's just going to go through the ceiling, and who knows what it is going to go below and what happens. You're going to be better off calling an AC company. They usually do that, but plumbing companies can also do that.
Right.
We use the same piping when it comes to their drain system.
If it is shut off, what would they do? Is there any?
You mean if the AC is not running?
No. If they don't have the standpipe.
If they don't, well,
Is there,
okay.
Is there another way that they can, from a plumbing standpoint?
You could cut under the plenum, and you could actually drop. They make these tablets. Actually, you said the term earlier.
Algae tabs.
Algae tabs that you can drop in the plenum, and then you'd have to seal your plenum back up with aluminum foil tape. And those will last 2, 3, 4 months, depending on how many tabs you throw in there.
Right.
But most people aren't going to go cutting into their own plenum and installing these, right? So that leaves you with the outside pipe, which is that 3/4 PVC pipe. So what you would do there is, when it's not stopped up and not running, you could cut a fitting into that pipe and install a T, and then you just put a riser about that high coming off of it.
About 8 inches.
Yeah. So you could do that, but you got to make sure it's not stopped up, and you got to make sure the AC is not running, or water is going to be pouring out of it. Straight down onto your ceiling, and then it's going to go straight downstairs.
Now, in this, right, from your time dealing with it, is this just something that'll spur up immediately? Like, it'll go from 0, not having a problem, to 10, I'm going to overflow? Or is it something that kind of gradually builds?
It gradually builds, but you can't tell that it's doing it until it's completely shut down.
Okay.
So once that sink starts filling up, means you've got a complete shutdown.
Right. Okay.
And that's when you got to take immediate action, or if it keeps going, it's not going to be pretty.
So that's a good indicator. If your sink starts to slow drain and you start seeing water backing up, and then it slowly goes out, and you turn it back on to brush your teeth and water comes up. So that's probably a good time to, oh man, don't wait. Go ahead and.
That doesn't happen a lot. Usually it's just boom, and it just starts filling up. But that does happen.
Yeah.
So if you guys start seeing a slow drain like that, especially if your AC drain line is in there, yeah, you need to get it rectified quick. Don't wait.
Yeah. And another easy way to tell if it is your AC drain line versus some other kind of a stoppage is that water backing up will be cold, because it's coming from the AC unit.
Absolutely.
So if it's cold water, there's a good chance that it's from the AC drain line. And normally it's clear. It's not cloudy or
that's true.
Murky. It's normally clear. Might have some flakes of algae floating in it.
Yeah.
But
and it's kind of interesting how this works. I've got 2 AC systems. So my upstairs, I don't know why this happens, but my AC stops up all the time.
I got one that does it too.
I mean, all the time. I don't know if it's an installation issue from the AC company or what.
But only one, not the other?
Yes, only the one, not my downstairs.
I'm the same way.
So I personally, I think it's not done correct, but I don't know. I'm not an AC guy,
Right.
but I literally stop up every 3 to 4 weeks. So I
Wow.
actually got so sick of it. I actually installed something in my attic that's pretty cool that we didn't talk about earlier. I've got an automatic dispenser.
Oh, nice. I've heard of them.
Yeah. So I put Clorox in this automatic dispenser, and I set the timer on how often I want it to dispense into the piping structure, so I don't have to go up in a 150-degree attic
Right.
and do it. So
Is that something we offer?
yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So it's an automatic dispenser, so you fill it up, and I only usually have to fill it up one time a summer. You don't need to dispense every day either.
No.
It's like a once a week deal.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have any more stoppages, period.
It's weird that you say that. Literally, I have 2 AC units,
Mm-hmm.
and I only have issues with one.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's side of the master bath is the one that always clogs. And we probably deal with it 2 to 3 times a year, but again, it's just that one. The other one I have no issue with. It's just
Huh. I can't tell.
That's strange.
I can't tell our audience why that happens, because it happens at my house
Yeah,
too.
that's weird.
And if I knew, I would have fixed it.
Yeah.
But I've even asked AC guys, and they have no clue.
I don't have the automatic dispenser. That might be something we might have to talk about off air. See if I can't set one of those up.
And I can't have it.
Yeah, so I mean that's something that a lot of our audience is going to deal with. Again, with the temperatures rising, summer's coming, right? We're going to be cranking on those AC units to keep us cool. It's going to happen. We get this call tons of times, right? And
let's use it for an example. Starting in June, we'll probably have 5 calls a day.
minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a lot of them. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, but there's definitely some steps homeowners like yourself can take to curb that expenditure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some pretty simple things.
That's great. I want to move on to one question.
Okay.
So this question is good. This comes, I didn't bring my glasses. This is Francisco. We talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago in one of our events that we did.
Right.
About disposals. And this is a disposal question that he didn't get to send in a few weeks ago. So I'm gonna go retouch back on this disposal real quick.
Okay.
The question is from Francisco: what's the difference between a third, a half, 3/4, and 1-inch horsepower disposals? So let me relate it to the car industry, right? If you've got a 4-banger, you are not going to be going as fast as the V12, right? So the V12 is, let's take that as the Ferrari, and the 4-banger is down here, right? So you've got a 1/3 horsepower. That's the least amount that you can have. The grinding capacity of a 1/3 is not nearly as what it is on a 1 horsepower.
Right.
So basically, it's the grinding capacity is what you're going to receive. Now, are the guts better with a 1 horsepower? Yes. Are the guts cheaper with a 1/3 horsepower? Yes. So in reality, your 1 horsepower should last much longer than a 1/3 horsepower will. Now here at Nick's Plumbing, we will never put in a 1/3. We're always doing 1/2 to 1, okay? Your apartment grades are all 1/2. Your homes are typically 1/2 to 3/4. Those 1/2 to 3/4 for your house typically will fit your need. Now, if you're a big culinary person and you want to shove the turkey in the sink, you need the 1-inch.
1 horsepower. 1 horsepower.
I'm sorry, 1 horsepower.
Yeah.
So if you're that type of person that you just want to shove things in that disposal, which I would never recommend, get the 1 horsepower.
That's right.
Yeah, that grinds bones.
Yeah, so you said the interior of the 1 horsepower is probably a little bit better than the 1.
It is.
So
You
it
get
kind of goes
same-
along with the engines.
It does,
Sure, a
yeah.
Ferrari engine all the other parts are probably a little bit better than the Ford Fiesta.
You hope. You hope.
Yeah.
But you know, you're going to get stainless steel parts within that 1 horsepower and 3/4 on some of them. There's several different ones that you can buy within 3/4 and 1 horsepower. But you know, most of your ones are going to come with stainless steel. You're going to have stainless steel grinders. You're going to have just most of it's going to be stainless. As you go down to the 1/2 inch and 1/3, you're going to get steel and less of the stainless.
So we have a question. We have a couple of people on here. One is from from Manila. He just says hi. Then we have a question. A question about an old water heater. Is the water in my old water heater bad for me?
I'm going to answer that.
Okay.
That answer is could be. Hot water will hold bacteria. Depending on which bacteria that it is, could be bad for you. And they live in that. And it's funny, we were watching a video on this earlier today. But the older that your water heater gets, the more calcium and mineral deposits and sludge and stuff coming in from the street like sand and dirt and little pebbles or whatever's coming in when that street water breaks and coming into your house is going to hit your tank and stay in there. And it's going to just jumble up. So I would tell you, water heaters go 7 to 10. You should throw them away at 10 in Houston, no matter what. So is that water bad for you?
We could say no for sure.
Right? You don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But I can tell you for sure, Houston's water is not good for you.
Right.
So that's what's in the tank.
Yeah.
But that starts from day one.
Yeah. It would be hard to say for sure if an old water heater has bad water or not, but the stuff that the water's passing through, obviously, if you saw it, and if you saw
what was in that tank,
you wouldn't want to drink the water.
The sediment.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks.
It's kind of like galvanized piping. When we pulled the old galvanized piping out of people's houses, and they see the decay, and then a 3/4 pipe is now a pinhole, and you see all the rust and stuff that your water's been passing through.
That's what's in the tank.
Yeah. So I mean, it's.
So in other words, it can hold bacteria, but it also depends on what bacteria that it's holding. Some bacteria are not bad for us, and some are.
Yeah.
So
if you're that worried about it, I would
get rid of it. If it's 7 to 10 in there, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get another one.
Possibly look in the whole house water filtration.
Or you go with a tankless,
yeah.
which means there is no tank, which means there's nothing to hold. It's a pass-through system.
Yeah.
That's what I've got at my house. I couldn't wait for my tank to break, and it did. Bad.
Cool.
That's it for today.
That's it for today. I don't see.
Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate your time. Any questions, make sure and email, get on Facebook and send them, because every week we are answering your questions. So make sure and send them in, and we will get them on air, and we will tell you what to do, and we will answer those. Thank you very much, and see you next week.
Thank y'all so much.